The next day.
夕べはお楽しみでしたね。
Opening my eyes, I found Machito beside me this time. Morning.
おはようございます。
As Machito greeted me, I glanced at my phone. 6:30 a.m., my usual wake-up time. I thought I'd just sleep in since I was up late last night, but Machito served as a potent alarm clock. Now, what was that about a nice night? I asked what she meant once the motor in my brain was running properly.
昨日の夜、クロさんが兄様の部屋を訪れていませんでしたか？
Is that a serious question?
いえ、事実として知っています。
Oh, good. As always, my little sister was the best. And the best thing about her, well, I felt my gaze shifting to where her blouse was unbuttoned. She grew up to be a nice and healthy, all right? If it bothered you, then you could have said something to Crow.
知りたいことがありましたので。
Something you want to know?
クロさんのことではなく、兄様がクロさんのことをどう考えているのかなと。
Now I get it. She wasn't worried about Crow. She just mentioned her name to gauge my reaction. In that case, it's just as you heard.
まるで妹か娘のような扱いでしたが。
I scratched my cheek.
兄様は女心が分かっておりませんわ。
After receiving Machito's strange criticism, I got dressed, ate breakfast, and steeled myself in case I had to feel her wrath once again. Now that I think about it, it's been a long time since we walked to school together, Machito.
昨日も二人きりだったはずですけど、私たちの記憶では久しぶりですね。
Yeah, I'd be leaving it to Dee Dee a lot before now. Speaking of, what's going on with her anyway?
昨日、母屋の方に国際電話がありました。前倒しで来日するそうです。
Was there a message for me?
あったと思います。い
What was it?
え、兄様に電話を代わってほしいと頼まれましたが、丁重に切らせていただきました。
How could I expect anything less from you? Poor Dee Dee, though. Well, it wasn't a big deal. I'd get to see her again in a few days anyway.
学校か？
Crow unexpectedly showed her face. Morning.
おはよう。だな。
There was no more evidence of last night's sad feelings in her great cheerful smile. I presumed our maids must have made her one heck of a breakfast.
おはようございます。クロさん。みちるも。おはよう。
Crow looked a little bashful as she returned the greeting. I guess I really should have asked her to say, yeah, last night after all. But more importantly, we're both stepping out for a bit, so be a good girl while we're gone. Are you alright?
大丈夫じゃ。何の問題もない。
Are you really gonna be alright?
なんだか道に見送られていた頃のことを思い出しますね。我が輩は子供ではないのだがな。
Well, how about after school we'll go out and buy a phone for you?
あれか。
Crow's eyes sparkled with excitement.
それはいいな。早く帰ってくるがよい。なんなら学校など休んだらどうだ？
Quit asking impossibilities of me. She really was a child.
それではとっとと行ってこい。
While Crow raised her voice in encouragement at us, it was obvious her mind was focused on something other than trying to get us to school on time. That reminds me about that getup Crow was wearing. What's up with that? She actually wasn't within earshot of us by now, so I opted to ask Machito about that.
あの服と言われましても、私にはわかりませんが。
Oh, that's right.
珍しいですね。兄様が私の目のことを忘れるなんて。
Well, that getup did leave quite an impression on me. It was basically a parka with cat ears.
それなら私のお風呂でしょう。
It's yours.
何年か前、メイドさんたちに プレゼントされた覚えがありますが。
I've never seen you wearing that. If I'd seen Michelle wearing that outfit, it would have been so cute that I would have surely remembered it.
どんな見た目でも私は気にしませんが、あいにくパーカーは耳が隠れてしまうので。
Oh, I see what you mean. I guess considering how Michiru's sense of hearing was of utmost importance in her day-to-day life, any clothing which covered up the ears wouldn't do at all.
でも、兄様がそういう趣味でいらっしゃるなら、ミチルは喜んで、猫にでも犬にでもコスロリにでもなりますよ。
I'll think about it. That wasn't even a joke, I was dead serious. What a smorgasbord for my eyes that'd be. I'll just have to take my time and seriously consider it. Anyway, I had the same kind of feeling when little Machida was with us too, but I don't really like to leave someone on their own at home while we're at school.
クロさんが何をしでかすかわからないという不安ですか？
No, more like I just feel a bit of pity about doing that or something.
そうですね。私は学園では兄様と離れ離れになるので、ありがたみを感じていませんでしたが。
I said this a million times before, but try concealing your real intentions sometime, especially given the circumstances.
いっそ、クロさんも学園に通わせてみてはいかがでしょう。
Ignoring what I just said, huh? That's not a bad idea, actually. Unlike little Machida, Pearl was certainly able to pass off as someone roughly around their age. But she didn't have any official documentation. She certainly wouldn't be in the family register. Perhaps we could invoke the name of the Sawatari to expedite things, but for some reason I felt hesitant about wanting to drag my family into that.
何かよからぬことを考えていらっしゃいますね。
I'm thinking here. Stop trying to read my mind.
それだけは無理なご相談です。
Machida showed me her usual innocent smile while she giggled at me. My sister was evidently happy that the two of us were walking to school together again. At any rate, I was happy about it too. After that, in spite of my own anxieties about riding the monorail, I arrived at school without incident. Stepping into the classroom, I saw Shuji. Speaking of, I guess he would have been part of the whole charade. I wonder if he remembers anything about it. Yo, good morning.
Ohayo.
Shuji responded with a sour look. Maybe he woke up on the wrong side of the bed or something. He's acting so much like usual, I can't tell if he remembers anything. Shuji, do you know a girl named Miu?
Miu? 誰だそれ?
I forget it. Guess I was just imagining things. Looks like he didn't have any of those future memories. Which meant that whole emotional spat we had on the beach over Miu's situation was effectively never going to happen now. That was a mixed blessing. An extremely mixed blessing, indeed.
何を気持ち悪い顔してんだ、サンズイ。
Screw you! I'm at that age.
お前にデリケートなところなんてないだろうが。
Same to you, though maybe there was a time when you acted surprisingly delicate.
は?
As we were chatting about nothing, Makoto came into the classroom.
レイ君、おはよ
Yeah, morning.
ん?
As we said hello, Shuji gave me a look like he'd just seen something unusual happen.
サンズイと城之内は普段挨拶なんてしてたか?
Yeah, we realized we live pretty close together. We talked a few times.
へえ、変な誤解されなきゃいいけどな。城之内の名誉のために。
Hey.
ああ、そっか。そういうところも戻ってるんだった。
Makoto evidently didn't realize the situation right away. Well, since Makoto wasn't displaying the kind of unbridled affections toward me that she did that time before, I figured things would be alright. Probably.
そういうことで、今度から石田君にも挨拶するから、よろしくね。
ああ、よろしく。
Makoto's sudden desire to talk to us made Shuji stare at her blankly. Ignoring Suji, I pulled Makoto aside for a quick word. You're still able to act casual toward me in the classroom, are you?
まあね。それより、石田君は今まで通りなんだね。
So I guess this means that the only other people who remember anything are the girls I dated from other timelines.
つまりレイ君と石田君の禁断の関係は可能性としてもなかったってことだね。残念だね。
If you think you can just say whatever you want to my face like that without me getting mad, I got some news for you.
二人とも顔立ちはそれっぽいし、遠慮のないツンツンした仲良しが女子の一部の間では需要あるよ。
I don't want to hear it.
まあ、私もその辺の子たちとは縁が薄いけど。
Makoto looked around the classroom.
DD さんがいないと、なんか教室が普通って感じがするな。
Better enjoy that feeling while it lasts then. Things will definitely get rowdy in here again soon, though I was a little excited with that. By the way, there's a word I need to mention to you, Makoto.
最近頼みばっかりだね。
Fixers. Winston Wolf types who solves problems. The Janucci family knows a lot of people like that, right?
そういう話？
I want to get Crow some proper documentation. Your family seems to have more friends in high places than mine, after all.
ああ、本当にそういう話だった。
Makoto's eyes popped open in surprise after she realized what I meant.
まあ、クロちゃんは犯罪者ってことはないし、なんとかなるかな。そっちの道の人に確認してみるけど、どの道お金はかかるよ。
If money's going to help things out, I'll pay whatever price you ask.
えげつない。
That makes two of us then.
クロちゃんのために手段を選ばないのは好きかな。それじゃあ今後ともごひいきに。
Makoto showed me a great big smile and then turned back to her seat. I had a feeling I was forgetting something though, so I called out to her again. Makoto,
何？
try not to drop your lunchbox again.
気をつけまーす。
Yeesh. I gave a short sigh. I was thankful that there were people in the world who could talk about breaking the law so frankly. Then my phone lit up with a new text message received. It was from someone I didn't have listed in my contacts, but one look at the message was enough for me to figure out who the sender was right away.
お昼休みに屋上に来て。あ、私一人じゃないわよ。みーちゃんも一緒なんだから勘違いしちゃダメよ。
Masaki. She must have got my phone number again from Machida. I sent off my reply as you wish, Your Highness, and saved Masaki's contact into my phone. Well, guess I'll just have to live up to my boring normal life until life in peace until Dee Dee shows up. Even while I thought about that, the only thing I could really live out in peace for the moment was my boring classes. Then came lunch break. I went downstairs to buy milk and black tea from the vending machine, then headed up to the roof.
ねえ先輩、こんにちは。ちょっと遅かったわね。どこかに寄り道してたの？
Indeed I did. I gave the two girls their drinks.
ありがとうございます。また買ってきてくれたんだ。ありがとう。
Couldn't dream of forgetting to treat the couple of cute girls like this.
こんな時に変なこと言わないでくれない？
Oh, right. I guess I shouldn't be flirting with them. But that was definitely easier said than done. I noticed Mew gazing at me with a serious face, her head cocked to one side. What's wrong, Mew? You didn't want milk?
牛乳は命の水です。
I doubted it was the serious business that she let on, though.
もしかしてレイ先輩ってすでに何回か時間を戻っていますか？
Huh? Why? I was so surprised I ended up answering a question with another question.
そういえば以前にも牛乳と紅茶を買ってきてもらったことがありましたよね。先輩と初めて会った頃だね。あの時レイ先輩は私たちのことを調べたって言ってたけど、もしかして二度目のことだったのかなって。
Oh no. Mew is sharp, just like always. No, it wasn't really a problem. I just didn't want them to know that I could turn back time by 5 minutes even now. Because if Mew found out about that power I had, the memories I made with her would seem fake. I gripped the watch in my pocket very tightly without even thinking. Ever since that time on the monorail in the evening where I ended up being sent far back in time, I hadn't tried to test the watch's power even once. I could probably assume that I had lost my power to go back in time 5 minutes. However, the worst thing of all was, even trying to use the pocket watch could potentially summon the goddess known as Chronos. I'd rather know for sure instead of letting it bother me, so maybe I should just give it a try. Although there's probably at least a 90% chance that it won't work.
先輩、さっきから何言ってるの?
I didn't answer their questions, choosing instead to throw the pocket watch to the ground. With a familiar sensation, time went backwards. Back in the first floor hallway. I must have been on my way to get their drinks. Whoa, whoa. The first thing I felt was surprise. I hadn't expected that power of the watch that would still work. I nervously looked around to see if the goddess Chronos would appear, but even after waiting for a moment, nothing happened. That confirmed another thing for me. Chronos would not hesitate to take my life, but at the same time she wasn't determined to do so. Even though she tried to kill me before, making use of my power didn't cause her to come after me again. All was truly insignificant to her. I felt a complex mix of fear, annoyance, and relief as I bought the same drinks as before, then headed up the stairs to the roof once again. Then...
あれ? もしかしてレイ先輩、すでに何回か時間を戻っています?
If this is about me knowing what your favorite drinks are, I actually asked Machiro about it before. The same conversation repeated itself, but this time I wasn't surprised. Plus, I had a better answer prepared for that question.
あ、そっか。お昼はいつも3人で食べてるから、確かにみちるちゃんに聞けばわかりますね。兄ちゃんは変なことばっかり気にするんだから。ごめんね。つい気になっちゃって。ついじゃなくて、気になることだらけでしょ。だって気になるんだもん。
We really should drive Miu out to a rustic old town in the countryside where she can't get hurt. Or maybe we could lock her up in a mansion on a deserted island to protect her from her own bad luck.
そのラインナップなら私は絶対に一緒には行かないわよ。
I wouldn't want to go either.
移動手段として豪華客船と飛行機もダメね。
So we're limited to the bus and the train.
そもそも学校がやばいわよね。
Yeah, true. Maybe the Grim Reapers spared her thus far because she's still just a first year.
でもそろそろ夏休みよ。
She should join a movie club over the summer. Maybe she'll set off a flight that way.
結果が楽しみね。二人とも私を行く先々で人が死ぬ探偵みたいに言うのやめよ。
Mia was on the verge of cheering up, but Saki and I now stated we'd turn to the main issue at hand. So why did you call me up here? For some reason, Saki's face turned bright red and she started stuttering. What's with that reaction? So cute.
変なことじゃないのよ。私はちょっと変な話だと思うんだけどな。だって仕方ないでしょ。まあそうなんだけど。
Anyway, I don't know if it's a strange thing until you actually tell me what we're talking about here. What? I was stunned. Me not being nice to Masaki? Stop asking me to do the impossible crap like that. Duh. I love spoiling you, Michiru, and Miu as much as humanly possible. And when you do something annoying, I'm all like, why you cheeky kids? But I'm still having more fun than you could ever know.
レイ先輩、私その評価はちょっと微妙です。誠先輩と DD 先輩を相手にするときはどうなってるんです？
Those two are fun in a different kind of way.
やっぱり私も微妙だわ。
I'm at least 30% joking.
7割本気なんですね。
Of course.
話が脱線してる。
I know that's because you're talking to me, but whatever. let's just get back to what we were discussing earlier.
自分が脱線の原因だって認識はあるんですよね。あ、ちょっと懐かしく思えてきました。
You gave a short sigh. I just enjoy talking to Masaki so much, so I can get carried away. Anyway, can you explain to me what you meant?
ですね、みんなで話し合った結果なんですけど、みんながレイ先輩の彼女だった経験があるけど、レイ先輩が誰かと付き合ったら死んじゃうかもってことだから、その打開策が見つかるまで誰もレイ先輩にアプローチしない、恋仲だったことの話も持ち出さないって協定が結ばれたんです。だから私にも優しくしちゃダメなのよってこと。寂しいだろうけど我慢しなさい。私も我慢するわ。
Yeah, I was a little surprised, but I understood. I understand. That was all I could say, so that's how it was. No matter how I looked at it, no matter how many times I thought back over it, there really was nothing else I could say in response to that. They were right. That was what we had to do. I knew that. I know we have to do this. We're being the only honor.
だからって先輩のことが嫌いになったわけじゃないのよ。
Yeah, it's fine. I understand. Rather, Masaki still liked me too much. Everyone's doing this for my sake, so I wasn't going to complain. But it was a strange feeling. I had decided to get a girlfriend and lose my virginity, and after many twists and turns, there ended up being multiple girls that I'd fallen in love with. However, my memories only spanned up to the point where I started dating each of them, so I didn't remember any of the dirty things that would have come after that. Furthermore, if I got a girlfriend now, I would die. It's a drag, isn't it? In other words, the rest of my youth would be boring and uneventful, like a can of soda, bereft of its carbonation.
そういうことだから、本当は一緒にお弁当を食べたかったけど。
ん？
なんでもない。それじゃあ先輩、またね。
Masaki showed me a forlorn smile as she headed back into the building. After watching Masaki leave, for some reason Miu turned to me and smiled.
私も戻りますけど、私とレイ先輩がお付き合いした可能性がないのがちょっと意外で、結構残念ですよね。美咲ちゃんとみちるちゃんには内緒ですけど。
It's a secret between us, right?
もちろんです。
Miu told me that rather surprising thought before following Masaki back inside the school. I had to hold back a grin. There were a lot of different things for me to think about, but first I needed to get the lunch out of the way. I had originally been planning to eating lunch with Masaki and Miu, but in the end, here I was, left alone under the blue sky to eat on the rooftop all by myself. I could have cried. Then, casually peering over the edge, I saw some sort of strange commotion around the school gate. Wait, don't tell me that's... Change of plans. Took my lunch, went back inside the building, and walked down the stairs. Exiting the building, I found the courtyard had much more commotion going on than the rooftop, which confirmed my suspicions. I continued heading toward the gate. What are you doing, Crow? Crow, who was lording around at the school gate, jumped in surprise when I called out to her. She'd always floated before, but now that she was a human, jumping was the best she could do.
いや、お主やみちるが真面目に勉学に励んでいるのか気になってな。
So you came here because you were getting bored of lazing around at the home, Matt. She seemed unable to be honest about her true motives, so I translated that vagueness into directness.
あの家の使用人たちはひっきりなしに我が輩に声をかけてくるのだ。まったく落ち着かん。
That's either because you're cute, or you seem suspicious of them. Crow wasn't as good at getting along with the unfamiliar people as Dee Dee was. So that's why you're at school then?
仕方なかろう。他に居場所もなければ金もないのだ。
Yeah. She was effectively saying the only place she was comfortable being in were places where I was. I couldn't help but be surprised. Perhaps she didn't even realize it herself. It wasn't a bad feeling to have her be so reliant on me, but also a rather strange one.
そういえば昼食の時間か。
Noticing the lunchbox in my hands and all the people walking around the school grounds, Crow caught onto it. Have you eaten?
朝からはみ出るほど食わされてな。しかも調子に乗って茶菓子のせんべいも食べてしまったのだ。
Well, I still need to eat lunch. But once I'm finished, we could go for a little stroll.
お主は午後も授業があるのだろ？
I'll skip.
いやいや、我が輩に気を使ってそこまでせんでも良いのだぞ。
You just be... Never mind. But really, this much should be okay. I almost said that I didn't want to leave her because she'd just be lonely, but I changed my mind and stopped myself mid-sentence. It was true that I'd never skipped class like this before, but right now I needed to. I remember all my classes in the first semester being bored as anything. I mean, I already knew what questions were going to be on the test anyway.
なんだ、我が輩のためではなく、お主のサボりの口実か。それなら遠慮することもないな。
Crow smiled happily. Wow, you're simple.
ちょろいとは何のことだ？
Just forget it. Anyway, I'm gonna eat. I'll be back in like half an hour, so just wait for me.
よく噛んで食べるのだぞ。
I ignored Crow talking to me like a mother who would to a child and went back into the building. Well, she said so herself. I guess I ought to take my time and enjoy my lunch. But still, it takes some real determination to make a sacrifice of your own like that, if it'll make a little girl smile. I went back to the classroom, ate my lunch, and took my backpack in hand and stole away.
サボり？
What? I was surprised to hear someone suddenly addressing me like that.
何してるの、レイ君
I don't feel so hot, so I'm going home. She was too sharp.
そっか、体調が悪いことにしたんなら帰っちゃうのもしょうがないかな。で、なんかクロちゃんに問題でも起こったの？
Oh, so you figured that out. It's easy for her to presume that the real reason for my early departure had to be with Crow. I was the one who asked her to look after Crow, after all. Well, it's not a big deal or anything.
私も付き合おうか？
I said it's fine. Just stay and hit the books.
そうだね。真面目に目立たずが私のモットーだし。
She nodded with relief, since she could tell from my attitude that there wasn't anything wrong.
じゃあ、代返しておいてあげるね。
Don't do that.
それなら、もう一つのお手伝いを。
Held. In silent response to my curiosity, Makoto held out her hand. I instinctively stretched out my hand, expecting she had a handshake or something in mind, but she reached past and jabbed me in the stomach instead. Even though she only touched me for an instant, I felt like I'd been socked with a pair of brass knuckles. Ugh. Ugh. I could feel the cold sweat running down my back. She had attacked my weak point for massive damage.
相対するなら、せめてそれらしい伊達男にしておかないと。
Point taken. Even while I was doubled over, clutching my stomach in pain, I couldn't argue with that. In this state, anyone would believe I was sick. I still had no idea where she'd learned how to do this, but my stomach had more of a dull, throbbing ache to it than a sharp pain. Alright, see you tomorrow.
じゃあ
After receiving Makoto's wonderful little present, I stumbled out to my next destination. Thanks to Makoto's special consideration, every student I saw on my way out of the building shot concerned glances my way.
何を腹を押さえておるのだ？
I ate a little too much. I took my hand off my abdomen once the pain subsided, finally managing to stand up straight.
お主も腹ごなしの散歩というやつが必要か？
Since it's such a nice day, we should walk through the park and into the shopping district.
モノレールに乗れないのはちょっと残念だ。
The monorail? I guess not. I didn't really want to, but I suppose it wasn't all that necessary either. In any case, we need to buy you a cell phone. Of course, I understood why she was happy. But then her expression suddenly turned somewhat anxious.
それなんだが、
What is it?
あいにく我が輩はお金を持ち合わせておらんのだ。
Girl hung her head apologetically. I'll pay for it.
すまぬ。
That's surprising. I didn't expect you to worry about the money.
何を言う。人の世が貨幣経済で成り立っていることは観察していて十分に理解しているつもりだ。
I suppose you would know that much, but I didn't know you cared so much about stuff like that.
この体になって食事や生活を成り立たせることがいかに大変か痛感してな。つまり金のない我が輩は人間の世界の最底辺の存在だと気づいてしまったのだ。喉が渇いても自動販売機の数字を睨むことしかできなかったしな。
Well, I guess that's another fun discovery you made. I pat a girl on the head. Don't worry about it too much. Even my student self can provide for you.
お主は金を持っているだろう。
I get an allowance from my parents, and I also made use of the watch's power to keep buying lottery tickets over and over until I... Oh wait, I was forgetting something. I had to return to the moment when I first obtained the power of the pocket watch, meant my bank account balance was the same as it had ever been. This time around, quite a few things had been undone after all. I didn't have the guts to incessantly buy lottery tickets right in front of Crow, so I just have to make do with my meager savings for now. Today feels awfully cold for summer.
急に押し玉ってどうしたのだ？
No, it's nothing. Anyway, let's get going.
待て待て、まだ我が輩は歩くのに慣れておらんのだぞ。
I started walking in order to hide the expression I made upon realizing the pathetic amount of money I had at my disposal, and she hastily chased it after me. From the perspective of the sundial, we'd set out from school at 6 o'clock, heading in the direction of the station and shopping district at 12 o'clock. Naturally, this meant we were walking due north. I brought some tea for Crow on the way, since she said she was thirsty.
何か仕事をして金を手に入れなくてはな。
Crow's topic of conversation didn't change at all as we walked. It was only natural that she would worry about it, considering her savings and income were both nil. Hey Crow, I don't mean to say having a job is a bad thing here, but don't you want to try to be a student first?
学生？
Schools exist so that people can learn things like skills for work, how to get along with other people, and how to work in groups.
我が輩もそう理解している。
So, usually people are students before they enter the workforce. I'm a student right now too, but I'd prefer not to have you worry about money while you're in school. So I can give you an allowance to cover your expenses.
道理にはかなっているし、ありがたいが。
But what?
その。
Crow suddenly started fidgeting. What? There's still something else you're worried about?
いや、その、なんだ。学生にはなっても良いのだが、条件があって。
Something more important than money? Are you worried about food?
我が輩を DD と一緒にするな。その、お主と一緒にいられるのなら、学生になっても良いのだが。それは高望みか？一人で家にいるのは心細くて、お主のそばにいたくなったのだ。
I was at a loss for words. Talk about a pickup line. I knew that Crow didn't have any other choices besides me, but it still made my heart beat faster. I was thinking about putting you in the first year class with Michiru, Masaki, and Miu, but you would rather be in the second year class with me? Crow nodded. Those were her genuine feelings. Well, if she didn't make any major blunders in the new setting such as school, I suppose it would be better for me to take responsibility for her. Alright. Then we'll walk to school together once I get the paperwork taken care of.
ドキドキするの。
Crow showed me a smile of uncertainty and excitement. To tell the truth, I felt the same mix of uncertainty and excitement. This wasn't something new for Crow, a possibility with an outcome she couldn't foresee. We kept walking until we got to the park. Just as Dee Dee had done in another time, Crow heaved a short sigh, even though we hadn't walked very far. Are you okay?
まだ歩くのに慣れていないのと、お主らが暑い暑いとうるさかった理由が実感できるというものだが、動かずにじっとしているより気分が良い。
Depending on the humidity, it can feel a lot worse. I took care not to walk too fast, since I had a girl walking with me, but even then, Crow's gait was quite a bit different from my own. Now that I look at you from that perspective, you're actually pretty short. I compared her height to mine once again. Yesterday had been so hectic, such an ordinary thing as her height had never occurred to me until now.
我が輩もいつもはお主を見下ろしていたから奇妙な気分だ。
I guess you'd compare to Miu or Masaki size-wise then.
そうだな。あの二人と向き合っている時だけは首が楽だった。
And I found my gaze unconsciously directing itself at Crow's chest. Size-wise then. Miu was drinking milk desperately to make gains in that area, but Crow might be the smallest of them all. They could be measured just with the naked eye. It was kind of hot how low-cut that outfit was, but I guess it probably made them look bigger than they actually are.
何の話だ？
A man's hopes and dreams.
お主のロマンや哲学など本にしたためて人知れず噴書してしまえ。
She glared at me scornfully, but on Crow's face, even that expression was skewed. That reminds me, Crow. I'm still able to make use of the power of the watch, but will it be alright?
ほう、その時計はまだ本体とつながっておるのか。それはそれで、お主の命を考えれば良くない話かもしれんがな。
Ah, I see. If the goddess Chrono had lost all connection with me in this world, then that would have been the end of that. I took out the pocket watch for no particular reason and juggled it back and forth between my hands. Either way, I won't be able to use it as casually as I was before, since I don't know what can happen.
そういえば、お主はこれまでの所有者に比べてあまり時計を使わんな。
Oh, you really think so?
どうでもよいことにはためらいなく使うくせに、肝心なところではほとんど頼らなかっただろう。
I guess I'm just stubborn about those things. A grin crept on my face. This time around, I probably wouldn't use it for anything aside from things of no importance again. Crow's eyes popped open.
つまらん意地だ。だが、今までのお主のつまらん考えが、我が輩にも少しだけ分かったような気がする。
Crow gave a sardonic laugh and then looked up at the blue sky. I followed her gaze there. Summer's blue sky. There was just one little thought I had on my mind, and I figured it was best not to say that to Crow right now. I had always envied Crow because I would have much rather preferred to have her power to float through the sky over the power to turn back time. If only I could try it just once. To swim freely through such a lovely summer sky as this, surely it must have been a wondrous feeling. For all of us who walk upon this earth and find ourselves able to do nothing more than look up at the sky, that is the greatest dream of all. After we arrived at the shopping district, I signed a second phone contract in my name, and then we headed home. Nothing particularly interesting happened. The only thing that really happened was Crow begging to open the box the phone came in as we walked home. Afterwards, I gave Crow a long lecture on how to use her phone until it was time for dinner, and then other plate can you get? Shoot. Lazing around in my room after dinner, I got a message from Crow, who was in the main building. Crow understood this world fairly well by now, so she picked up on how to use her phone and send text pretty quickly. I was about to send her some kind of boring response like, yeah, I got it, but I had a feeling that since it would be the first response she'd get to a text she'd sent, I should put a little more thought into it. I remember that when she first replied to one of my text messages, even if it was pretty boring in retrospect, it gave me quite a feeling of accomplishment. I was so naive back then. Then I heard the sound of footsteps running through the hall.
届いたか？
Crow had run all the way over to my room. I was just about to send you a reply. You didn't have to come all the way here just to check.
気になるのだからすぐに返事をせえ。
You're even worse than Masaki.
携帯電話というのはやはり楽しいな。
She was so excited about having a phone that my retort sailed right over her head. When you were a ghost, you always made fun of us for being on our phones all the time.
知らんの。よし、使い方が分かったし、みちるからみゆやみさきの連絡先も教えてもらってこよう。
Crow happily turns to exit the room. Oh, wait a second.
なんだ、いちいち呼び止めようって。
When did I become a whelp anyway? I got out my wallet, then took out one of my precious few 10,000 yen bills along with a few more 1,000 yen ones. I don't want you walking around without money. And I imagine there's going to be a few things you'll need in the future as well, so try to make this last. Crow's eyes glimmered with excitement, just like when she first got her phone.
お主、見かけによらずいい男だな。今なら何でもしてやろうという気分になるぞ。
Anything? That's not good. I heaved a sigh and handed her the money. Though hearing a girl should just do anything after I gave her a fat wad of cash was... Let's not think about that. Anyway, don't spend it all at once.
任せておけ。
I'm not so sure about that. But it does take practice to learn how to budget your money.
そうだな。駅に入るところの機械を往復したい気分ではあったのだが。
That would be a huge waste of money.
分かっておるわ。
Will she really be okay? Also, you should talk to Michiru. She can probably get you a wallet and some other little things that you'll need.
みちるが？
Considering who she is, she receives a lot of gifts from people. But she's blind. She doesn't get attached to them. So she should have lots of things like that which don't have any use to her lying around. And if you mention that it's a favor I'm asking of her, she'll no doubt be eager to help you.
なるほど。行ってくる。
Once again, Crow turned her heels and dashed out. Crying out loud. She'd gone from gazing at the moon wistfully like a character in a subpar animated film the previous night to practically bouncing off the walls today. Talk about a mood whiplash. In any case, between her cell phone money and the school she'd be attending, that took care of most of the basic essentials for Crow to manage in day-to-day life. She seemed to be acclimating to things surprisingly quickly. I had been pessimistically thinking that nothing exciting would happen in my life anymore, but now I was starting to get the feeling that there were still fun and exciting things in my future. Still, this doesn't really feel like I'm starting a new game plus. It's more like my save data got wiped out and I'm starting from scratch. Sitting there with a grin and thinking about the future, I suddenly remembered Crow's message and how I hadn't sent a response yet. Thinking about it, for a brief moment I typed my reply. Just cool it. Don't run in the hallways. Oh, it's already over. It's already done another chapter. It's only been 45 minutes, but I guess I better go ahead and cut it short this time. I'm sure some of you won't mind it being short, and some of you will mind it being shorter. But just this time, I'm going to go ahead and stop it here. It's pretty interesting what things have gotten interesting now. It's hard to figure out which way the story is going to turn and how they're going to end up falling for each other. Now it still seems like she's just a little kid, and I'm a doting brother or something. Anyway, thanks for watching. Hope you made it to the end, and I'll see you next time.